Mr. X Nightmare is the latest DLC for Streets of Rage 4. Mr. X, the villain from the previous games, has his brain turned into a fighting simulation by Dr. Zan, and your original Streets of Rage 4 characters want in on the simulation. But 3 new fighters join: Estelle Aguirre, Max Thunder, and Shiva. All of them are bosses from Streets of Rage 4, and they bring their distinct flavor that no other character has. Estelle hits hard and uses grenades and rockets to put her opponents down. Max brings back his wrestling moves and power hits, while Shiva combines quick hits and speed to throttle the streets. There is no sign of copycatting with these adaptations. Floyd and Max are big boys, but they don't resemble each other at all. Estelle and Adam both hit hard with precision, but couldn't be further apart in execution. And Shiva's unlike any of them. If you like to play with several characters, you're going to have fun figuring out their optimal combos. And if you like to main one character, you'll find each fighter has their own depth that's worth uncovering. You could take your newfound fight buddies to the streets in story mode and try to get S ranks, but survival mode is the heart that makes this DLC pulse. It plays like it sounds. Pick a character and be taken through a gauntlet of enemies from the story, some specifically included from ladder entries. You're rewarded randomized perks to help your journey after you finish the level, but you only have one life. There's also a weekly survival simulation that takes you through a crafted gauntlet. You're presented with the same perks and mostly the same enemy encounters every time you play it, but the difficulty ramps up faster compared to the regular simulation. Weekly survival feels less exciting thanks to its predictability and certain item combinations. Sometimes it feels like it's designed to be conquered with a specific character due to the perk lineups, and that takes away from the concept that the developers seem like they made this so you can use any character you want. But no matter which survival variant you play, you'll have to use a mix of skills you've inherently learned while playing the story, as well as using a few cheesy tricks to advance. I cannot get past level 21 for the life of me. I've reached it many times with Floyd and Shiva, but there is something about the continual hordes of easy to kill characters with a sprinkle of tough ones that make level 21 the glass ceiling I have yet to break. But it's so fun trying to reach that level again and again. Survival requires player skill, optimal perk choices, and a bit of luck, but it's these sometimes contrasting elements that make survival so addicting. As you fight through survival at the end of a run, you earn progression towards unlocking new moves for the character you've played with. It's the most exciting way to keep the game fresh when so much of perfecting Streets of Rage 4 is utilizing the most optimal moves to hike up the score. Adding the new moves brings back experimentation, and because every single character, including the pixel brawlers, have new moves, there's lots of incentive to keep coming back. A lot of the new moves allow you to close the gap on your enemies or quickly fill up your hit count, but still require you to keep mashing under control as they're easy to spam. They're really fun to play with and a welcome addition after using the same moves and combos for so many hours. Of course, you don't have to play survival, you can stick to the original modes, but if you play story or select individual stages, you'll find a new difficulty: Mania Plus. In Mania Plus, there's more enemies, and they move insanely fast. They're so fast, it looks like they bug out sometimes. Thankfully, the enemies all take the same amount of damage, keeping this wily difficulty in check. Mania Plus feels overwhelming, and sometimes I'll lose track of my characters, but it felt like a thrill ride trying to hit S ranks in this mode that's obviously meant to be overwhelming. I have to mention the soundtrack bumping in the background. All the songs are bangers. From the remixed Streets of Rage 4 intro song that plays during the survival character selection, to the chaotic and varied pulsing rhythms that feel every bit like modern Streets of Rage tracks. They fit the moment-to-moment action extraordinarily well and have given me a great first impression of T-Lopes and his arranging abilities. Mr. X Nightmare also includes a new training mode that lets you experiment with character moves and combos. There's guided training or free training to experiment with new moves or perfect combos from old moves. It feels like a fighting game training mode, complete with a virtual room with ruler lines to help you visualize punch, kick, and jumping distances. It's a useful feature that helps you understand there's more depth and precision to this game that you might not have noticed. Adding this also allows people to get better at the game, giving them more potential success at S ranks or lasting longer in survival. With so many positives associated with Mr. X Nightmare and how good this DLC is, it's hard to imagine there's any negatives, but there are some. Lag spikes still frequently permeate online play. The problem is even more exacerbated when playing survival. When you're a part of a good run and the infinite lag spike kicks in, it's straight up demoralizing. Some of my runs that feel like they could have been the one, me getting past level 21, those have been stunted thanks to lag spikes. This is an issue that's been a problem since Streets of Rage 4 launched, and it's disappointing to know the issue persists. There's also smaller issues like not knowing when an online player has finished selecting their character and all the details about their character, so you don't start the game before they finish modifying their character. Or no checks and balances for online players who take all the perks between survival levels, or not being able to change your movesets without leaving the training room. Little small details, but those issues can't destroy the overall work put in here. When an online match works, it works very well. There is some button delay, but it's not enough to make you not want to play. And then everything else is designed with care and respect for the franchise's past. I give Mr. X Nightmare a 90 out of 100. Subscribe to Gaming Trend to get raw gameplay from the latest big and small games. And be sure to check out our website, gamingtrend.com, for even more reviews.
Over here.